Hey writers, welcome back to my channel. I did it. I read Powerless. There's a lot to cover. I seriously cannot tell you guys how excited I am to do this review. It was so good. There were some parts I didn't like, but that will be in the discussion upcoming. Before we get started though, I do want to preface this video by saying it's not spoiler free. So if you haven't read the book and you plan to read it, don't watch this video. This is not a kind of review where it would be something you watch before you read the book. This is something basically to kind of more like a discussion for people who have also read the book. So click off this video now because there is lots of spoilers. I basically discussed the whole book plot. And I'm so sad that I didn't record my reaction because obviously I should have expected that there was going to be something really big and like, whoa, at the end. So I should have been like, oh, for the next like two chapters, the last like two or three chapters, I should set up my phone and record my reaction. But I was too dumb to do that because I just forgot. So, but I do have a little clip of my reaction, like literal moments after I finished the book. So I'll put that on the screen now. I just finished reading Powerless. Like I literally just read the last word a few seconds ago. I'm so upset because I should have known that there was going to be some kind of big thing at the ending, and so I should have set up my camera to record my reaction, but I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm not even kidding. For the past like 5 minutes, I've just been sitting on my bed with my jaw just on the like floor, like speechless. Oh my god. Oh my gosh, I literally can't wait to read Reckless. Stop, the end was literally, oh my gosh. Oh my god. And with that, I guess we're gonna get into the review. First and most importantly, I'm gonna be talking about Peyton. Oh my gosh. It's so hard to talk about something that you like love so much because you're like, I can't even put into words how good it is. But anyway, Peyton, I loved her. I'm gonna be honest. I liked her a lot more than I did Jude Duarte. Maybe that's an unpopular opinion. I don't know if it is, but I liked Pay way better than Jude Duarte. First of all, oh my gosh, her backstory with her father, so sad. I love the motivation and the symbolism between Kit and the king, especially the eyes throughout the whole book. Obviously that's proven wrong at the end, but I still, can enjoy it. As for her personality, I think it was cute. I liked it. I liked her determination, her bravery. I loved her fighting skills. And I know some people are like, girls shouldn't be beating up full men. Well, I understand that like in like movies or like stuff where it's supposed to be like realistic or whatever, but this is a fantasy book. Let's keep that in mind. So, and I love the way she views the world. I would always get like really excited when it would switch to her POV instead of Kai's because it was just so interesting, her outlook and view and the way she looked at everything. It was very calculating, and she saw the small details. She saw the small details, and I love all the inner thoughts. There is so much processing and thinking going on in her brain. I also really liked her style and of course her appearance. Oh my gosh, the freckles. We know how many there are. Guys, we know there's 28 freckles. And I love her like light blue eyes as a blue-eyed girl. And obviously her hair. Her hair is iconic. She has that in common with Jude. They both have iconic hair. Something I will say is obviously I had to look up some fan art on Pinterest, and when I was doing that, I noticed this. It's very similar with how they draw the characters from Book of the Air, which I really dislike. They always draw the characters like they look like they're like in their late 20s or early 30s. Like they make them look super, super mature, these like perfectly sharp jaw lines. When in reality, these characters are literally like 17, 18. Some of them like aren't even adults yet. It just feels weird when I see them drawn and they look like they're super like literal full grown adults. I'm like, anyway, that was just like a mini tangent I wanted to go on, so it wasn't really related to Peyton. Oh, and of course, I love the way that she thinks about Kai. Like, the whole thing of her, like him always having his emotional mask on, and she can tear it down. She can see right through him. Oh, that's so sweet. It's so sweet. And one of the reasons I like her a lot more than Jude is that she's not one of those baddie female characters you see over and over and over again in all these book talk books or whatever, but she actually has like motivation and emotion and agony behind everything she does and her mental missions, like her focuses. It's very beautiful and everything behind that. I still would consider her obviously a strong female character, but it's not one of the annoying ones, you know. Usually when I hear people say strong female character, I cringe. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Peyton. Now we will be moving on to Kai. My opinions about this character are probably going to get a lot of hate. So I liked Pei a lot more than Kai, that's for sure. I didn't hate Kai, okay? I like his character. I just want to make that clear that when I make my opinions about him, I'm not saying like, "Oh my gosh, I don't like the character at all." No, I he's very important to the story. So I do want to say like when I was reading the book, when he was first introduced, his like cockiness and arrogance, at first it's kind of like charming, it's kind of like, oh my gosh, he's like the spoiled arrogant prince, waha, blah blah blah. But then, like, when it got farther into the book, it just got more and more annoying. Like, it got to a point where I was just like, okay, you're like actually being annoying. Just a lot of stuff he said really irritated me, but I get that, like, that's probably from my reader point of view. From a writer point of view, I can see that it's important. And I do just want to remind y'all, for people who are writers and readers, please, please, when you're reading a book, read it as a reader, not as a writer, especially when you do reviews. Because I have had people who in the past have like read my work or read stories, and I can definitely tell they read it like a writer. And I think you need to learn, it's important to separate those two things, because if you start reading things like a writer, you're not going to be enjoying it. Anyway, that was my second tangent. Going back to Kai, or should I say Malachi? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Literally, his name is so pretty. His backstory actually made me so sad. The whole thing with his dad, I was like, can appreciate Kai more because of the way he thinks. Oh my gosh, some of the stuff he says is so poetic, like so freaking poetic that I'm like, how are you so nasty sometimes and then you just randomly become like Shakespeare? Like, dude. I also really liked Kai's relationship with his brother Kit. It was really sweet. So now we're gonna move on from the two main characters, Kai and Pei, to their relationship. We're gonna be talking about their relationship. It's so nuanced. It's so hard to talk about, if that makes sense. Because you literally just have to read the whole book to be like, oh my gosh, I understand the relationship. I can't really like describe it. Pretty much for the first entire half of the book, their specific relationship, not the characters, but their relationship, in like maybe like the first half of the book, maybe like the first third, I was cringing. I was cringing. Yeah, I was cringing. Maybe that's just because it's the awkward first, you know, meeting situation. But their relationship is so nuanced and deep, like I said. The fact that, oh my gosh, I know this is like so bad to say, but at the end I was like, oh my gosh, they killed each other's dads. I just imagine the next time they meet being like, you killed my dad. And then the other one be like, no, you killed my dad. You killed my dad. No, you killed my dad. But yeah, I love how their relationship developed. It was very beautiful, honestly. It was really rough in situations and strange and weird, but it was altogether very, very just like wow kind of relationship. Like it's just so hard to put into words. And at the end, I almost started crying. I mean, of course, I cried over Adina's death, but I almost was crying because of how their relationship ended in the ending of the book. Okay, but we for real need to find that stupid Imperial that interrupted Kai and Pei when they were outside in like the garden or something. At, like, what was it, the second or third ball? Third ball, I think. Um, we need to find that guy and like. Okay, now we're moving on to the side characters. So I'm not gonna be going into like every single tiny little character, but like the main side characters. You know, like there's the main characters and then there's the main side characters. So first we have Adina. I love her so much. Oh my gosh. She's so sweet. She's so beautiful too. She's so sweet and beautiful. I loved her relationship with Pei. Um, it was just so sisterly and loving, and I love the fact that she was like the seamstress and she made clothes for Peyton. She made her dresses. But her death actually made me cry. Like no other scene in the book made me cry, but literally I cried at her death. Yeah, I actually need to find Blair and kill her. And that brings me to the next side character, Blair. Why did I low-key imagine her as the like purple-haired character from like Duolingo or something? Like you guys know what I'm talking about? I sometimes see people online just whenever there's a character they don't like that's a girl, or I guess it can be a boy too. They'll be like, "Oh, like she's such a pick me" or whatever. But genuinely, this is the first time where it's actually been a pick me and not just people just calling characters they don't like pick me's. Blair is genuinely the first pick me girl I've ever read in a book. She's crazy. She's absolutely crazy. Next, Kit. Oh my gosh. Okay, so he's actually delusional. Like, let's be honest, Kit is delusional because how did he not see like the way that like Kai and Peyton were like looking at each other when the sites were broadcasting the footage from the first trial on to like the screens or whatever. Did how did he not see the like all he saw was the way that she's like screamed when she saw the illusion of him laying there, and he was like, "Wow, she was worried about me, guys," and then just completely like disregards the fact that like what everything that happened with Peyton and Kai in the first trial in the forest, he just like somehow that didn't reach his brain. All he's thinking about is how Peyton was worried about him. And then, oh my goodness, the surprise at the end with Kit, the epilogue. When it switched to Kit's POV, at first I thought it was Kai. Okay, I was so confused then when it was like talking about Kai, and I was like, what? And so I flipped back to the page and I was like, oh my gosh, this is from Kit's POV. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I actually started freaking out. Wish I could have recorded my reaction. At the end, he scared me. Like the personality change. He was so like sweet. I especially loved that one scene when the resistance broke in and they were in that room together and Pei and Kit were talking. Oh my gosh, that was so sweet. But at the end, he got really scary. I'm worried about how he's gonna act in the second book. Next we're talking about Jax. Oh, he's such a sweetheart. Oh my heart. Oh my heart. And he's just a baby too. How old was he? He's been 14 for a month, guys. He's been 14 for a month. Only like real nerds will get the reference. I think he was like 14 or 15, I can't remember, but I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like near my age. That's near my age. He's just a baby. Why is he in the Pershing trials? But the relationship with Kit and Kai was so sweet. Like the fact that they called him their brother, their little brother, just the playfulness in their relationship was so sweet. And when he almost died because of Ace's illusions, oh my gosh, my heart was beating so fast in that chapter. Like I was literally like hyperventilating. And then for the last side character, I'm gonna be talking about honestly maybe might be my favorite side character, Lenny. From the freaking beginning, I was like, oh my gosh, I love Lenny because he was an Imperial and he was like actually freaking nice and not a creep like all the other Imperials. I was like, wait, I like him. I love Pei and Lenny's relationship. I feel like it kind of gives me like playful brother and sister vibes, kind of. It's like just the way he would like call her princess, like, oh, you're such a princess. It was so funny. Next, I want to talk about the world building. I'm gonna be honest. The like first chapter, like when you first jump into it, it was good. It was very good. I loved the world building, honestly. It was really confusing for me at first because of all of the like names for the powers and like what's a Monday, what's an Imperial, what are the difference between those, what are the difference between blah 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 blah. And you know, the whole thing with the plague and the ordinaries. I was very confused at first, but after probably like the first 15, 20 chapters, I finally got it in my little tiny brain. Next, I'm going to be discussing the plot, which is obviously the most important part. It's the plot. So I think it was really good. All the plot twists were crazy. Most of them were kind of packed into the end. I would have liked to see if maybe one of them was sprinkled at the beginning or the middle or something like that. Of course, we did have the resistance plot twist. I don't know if it counts as the one, but we did have that in the middle, which was good instead of just putting all the plot twists at the very end. The climax was amazing, had my heart racing. Great climax. The ending literally spooked me. I'm like traumatized, not actually. And I don't know if this is some kind of like special edition or something that just my book had, but in my book that I have, at the end it had like a little extra chapter where it was from Kai's POV of his first kill, aka Peyton's dad. And I thought that was good. That was good, juicy little thing to add. That was good. And the very last main point I want to talk about is the writing style. So, the writing style honestly is pretty much bittersweet for me. I feel like it's equal between I don't like it and I do like it. So, it's very descriptive, it's unique in some ways, and it's very interesting. For me, it was at the beginning way more intriguing because of the writing style, but then throughout the book, it kind of dwindled out. Some parts were really good. Don't get me wrong. There were those parts where you were like, "Oh wow, this is so poetic." But I kind of came for the writing style in like the first few chapters, and then I just stayed for the plot. And one of those reasons is because she reuses words a lot. And I'm not going to be overly critical of when people use reuse words in books. I get like anxiety when I have to reuse a word two times within one chapter. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to reuse this word twice in one whole chapter. But she'll over here be using the same word like 10 times in one chapter. I'm not trying to judge, but it just really annoyed me. It kind of made me cringe. Like I know there's one word she uses a lot, which is flick. Like his eyes flicked between the trees in the forest or something, or his gaze flicked up and down the ballroom or something like that. Flicked. It's used a lot and way too much. I feel like maybe we could have found some synonyms for it. Happens for a lot of other words too. Flick was just the first one that came to my mind, but I feel like maybe we could have used a thesaurus or something to find some more diverse words. The thing I most disliked about the book, probably like the main thing for me, which is like why I wouldn't give it a 10 out of 10, um, is some of the descriptions had me cringing so bad. Yeah, so a lot of the parts, like interactions between Kai and Peyton, really just had me cringing. Some of them were just reused way too much. I feel like they needed some originality between the different scenes and interactions. I don't want you guys to get angry at me for this, but it was really book talky. I mean, I know it's literally a book talk popular book, but just some of the interactions between Kai and Peyton, mostly in the beginning of their relationship, mostly in the beginning. More towards the end, I was, kind of getting more like, okay, okay. I think about all the time, wait, what would I actually do if I was in her situation? I would not act like her at all. Maybe it's just because we have different personalities. And with that, that's pretty much the end of my review. Let me know if you guys would want maybe some deeper analyzing into the Powerless book, or if you would want me to talk about my favorite scenes and stuff, maybe in like a YouTube short. And I will be starting Reckless soon, so let me know if you guys would want to see my Reckless review when I'm done with it, because thank you guys so much for watching. I This was so much fun to do, to just yap to you guys about how much I liked Powerless. That's basically what this was, just yapping to you guys about my favorite characters and parts and what I liked about it, which is so much fun. If you enjoyed it as much as I did, make sure to like and maybe subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.